Hello everyone, today we will be replacing the spark plugs for Toyota Prius C 2013 hybrid version. So these are the spark plugs that I will be replacing. This one they were recommended by AutoZone, Denso, Iridium, and the model IK16TT. So the first step will be remove these 4 bolts from the emission coils. We can remove this wiring so give a little space. So there is a plastic tab that we can push like this on this direction and we lift, and there is another part here so we can move and it will give us more space. The socket will be 10 millimeters. Tension right here so it's not an angle. And I will be placing this this will be the last one. I can disconnect provisionally this connector from the throttle body so I can have more space. Oh well, it's not necessary. I have a little space right here. Okay, now we have these 4 bolts. Now we can lift just this ignition coil. And the next step will be with a socket, the standard socket for spark plugs 5/8. So we insert the socket and we start removing. I recommend use the ratchet because it's more safe. Never use a drill to remove some spark plugs because you never know how the threads can be stuck and probably you can damage the threads on the block of the engine, especially this aluminum engine. I recommend doing this job. Never do this job with the engine too hot because remember the aluminum material when it's hot is more soft, so there are more probability that you can damage the thread. Okay, so the second one, just disconnect this connector, pushing the tab right here and remove it. It's a little stuck, and here this pipe is on the way, so you have to kind of turn a little bit and then you remove it like this. Do the same process for all the coils. It's always recommended check the threads on the spark plugs. If you see sometime part of this material on these threads, that means your threads are damaged in the engine, so you need to perform another process to repair that. Because sometimes I prefer using the oil connector because sometimes these connectors with the time they heat, they're really fragile. So that's when usually you have to replace them or just any connection that is not necessary. These parts are really stuck. I purchased this car used and already has the odometer This will be my new spark plugs. And I forgot a little detail. I didn't buy the grease, or they did include the grease. I thought it was included. There is a thread grease that you're supposed to apply here on the threads to avoid what is happening right now, but for today I just installed it like this to finish the tutorial. But there, when you buy the spark plugs, I recommend buy. There is a grease that they sell for this, so you apply on this part, so that will avoid in the future that the spark plugs will be stuck. Okay, so first to install the spark plugs. On this especially socket for spark plugs, you have there is like a rubber material over there, so that will keep the spark plugs on place and it doesn't fall off. It's important, this part, because if you let the spark plugs fall from the top, you can bend this little metal, so it won't have the gap. The gap is a distance between the electrode and this part. So if that gap change, your car might misfire. So always do gently until the bottom and put first by hand. In that way you're making sure that the threads are not entering in the wrong side or in wrong direction. Do the same for all the other 4 spark plugs. Now all the process will be just the reverse as we did at the beginning. Just install again all your emission coils. So this one, it will enter on this direction and then you rotate it. Make sure you're connecting the right connector on the right position. This one goes right here. And install back the 10mm bolts. Based on my experience, I always recommend put the bolts first initially by hand and then use the power drill, never over time. Now use the power drill, but make sure that all the bolts are tight by hand. Just get them a little tight, and then I will use my ratchet because I prefer it more. Put again these clips for the harness into position, and that will be all. check your car, turn on your engine,